Hey, what's up, guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of A Nation United. And today we look to avoid controversy. There was a little bit in the last episode with the acquisition of one Vladimir Tarasenko. Again, when we moved our first-round pick, we had the option. Do we go for a half-decent prospect or a couple of prospects and picks, or do we look to add someone like Tarasenko? And mainly, adding him in efforts to boost up someone like Vitaly Kravtsov over the next couple of seasons. Now, of course, Kravtsov is developing relatively well. He was our leading scorer last year. He had a great season, 43 goals. And that was the thought process behind adding Tarasenko. We have those two on the top line, probably between Barbashev, and things are looking pretty damn good for us, I have to admit. Now, whether or not that move pays off, well, time will tell, won't it? As Anton Khudobin is still at an 80 overall. So we shall see. I'm not saying with 100% certainty that it was the best move. I don't know for sure. We are going to find out, though. And at the very, very least, we have a top player that we could look to move if need be, as Barbashev wants to get paid. Right. 2 years looks to be about the sweet spot. The 85% trick probably won't work, even though he's interested in a contract. That would bring it down to $5 million. Let's go 5.25 for the next 2 years. Try to save some money, even though, of course, we're going to have a ton of cap space. Kamenev, we might as well just go with the 1 year that he wants. That's fine by me. 3.2 with the 85%. That would bring it down to 2.75. We'll see if he accepts that. Ilya Mikheyev, of course, it's going to be a UFA. 2 years is the sweet spot. Did he want to re-sign? Yes, he does. Can we get him at 2x2 just to have a better contract? Dmitry Sokolov will hopefully continue to improve. Let's go 3 years at $1 million. That works for me. And then all of you guys for now need to be dropped. And we will be filling out this roster again via the free agent list. So those are the only players that we have to worry about in the meantime. Now, again, for this process, it is going to be slow and steady. Oh Christ, that's going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. It is going to be a slow and steady approach to building this team. As again, I have the list of all the Russian players, associated with NHL clubs, in the real world right now. It's gonna take some time to acquire the players that we want to acquire. Kamenev re-signs, Barbashev, Mikheyev, Sokolov. Perfect. Everybody re-signed. So what we're gonna do is destroy my soul from the inside. We are going to just sim to free agency because we should be good to go. Let our coach go for the moment, and I will make sure that we sign all the top players, or all the top coaches as well, and all the players that we can sign, all the scouts and all of that. It's going to be a massive pain in the ass to handle it, but we'll do what we can. So what we're going to do first, though, is take a look at the top free agents available. It's not looking like it's an amazing class. Goalie-wise, do we have a Russian? We do not. That is very unfortunate. Igor Shesterkin, the Shesterkin. Yes, please. Yes, please. 3 years. Let's go like 1.2. And he should sign that, and that could end up being a very good contract for us. If he develops. He'll be the starter. He'll be the 1-2 punch with Khudobin. Unfortunately, I don't think Vladar is not Russian. He's Czech, I believe. Arundel, Warner, Condon, Huska? Not Russian. Damn it. Montembeau. Okay, I think we're out on decent goalies already, but hey, Shesterkin being there is pretty damn big. Nedeljkovic, of course, is not Russian. Is there another prospect? Zagadulin we had last season. We might as well bring him back. He's kind of the perfect guy to help fill out an AHL roster with. Connor Walchuk is American, as he should be with a name like that. Okay, so goalie-wise, we're done, but Shesterkin being there is pretty nice. Defensively, do we have anybody? It's not looking good. Sanheim, Edler, Vatanen, Petrie, Cole. Oh, boy. Yeah, we don't have anybody here, do we? Braun, Hunt, John, Sekera, Demirs, Hjalmarsson. This is rough. This is very rough. This is incredibly rough. All right. We're not getting much help on the defensive side of things. Alex Petrovich is Canadian. Ilya Lyabushkin. Ilya Lyabushkin. Sign him up. And that's about it. Again, we're going to have a bunch of random players to try and fill out this roster with. It's going to be pretty bad. Yaros is Slovakian. Van Sompel, Kovacevic isn't available. Friedman, Vorobyov. There we go. Dmitry Vorobyov, who I apparently forgot to sign. So God help me if he doesn't re-sign with us. I didn't check what free agents I might have potentially let go of. Whoops. Oh boy, that is a rookie mistake, huh? For someone who's been doing this for the years that I have. That might be the first time I've ever actually made that mistake. Here's hoping it doesn't cost me anybody. Even if it does, it's fine. We have people we can give up. Lintoniemi's not available. Kasky. I'm just desperate for medium sevenths here, and it's not happening. Yegor Rykov. There we go. Former Devil and Rangers prospect. Might as well sign him to what equates to a good entry-level deal. Kai Gorodov's probably Ukrainian. Latvian. That works too. McTaggart, Shields, Nichols, Matt Spencer, Fedorov. Estonian. That blows. Valentenko? Ukrainian. That's just great, isn't it? Solovyov. Estonian. Dodonov. Ukrainian. This is torture. That's what this is. This is torture. Semenov, Ukrainian. Venkateshin, American. And okay, that's it there. So forward-wise, do we have anybody? I don't think we do. Krejci, Hyman, Hoffman, Schwartz, Tatar, Getzlaf, Johansson, Armia. This is not looking good. Berchki, I wish. Artem Anisimov. Let's bring Artem Anisimov back again. Let's go 1 year at $3 million, just so that it's still a very tradable contract. Hinostroza, Cassian, please, God, I need help. Help. Send help. This is brutal. There's just nobody. Oh, God, we're getting down to the fourth liners. David Komp, Brower. Anybody? Please? Somebody? It's, nope, there's just nothing. There is absolutely nothing. Zach Ronaldo can be an honorary Russian, right? Prospect-wise, I don't think we have anybody. At least I would assume that there is nobody of extreme value here. Vedamo is not there. Bodan. Nope. There's a whole bunch of nothing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to sim ahead to the beginning of the preseason because I have some roster moves, staff and everything to sort out. I will talk to you in a moment. All right, guys, we are here. We have arrived. The preseason. Everything went according to plan. Shockingly, every single person that we tried to sign ended up signing. Let's get you a look at the team and what it's going to be for this season. Now, I did change around some player types to make sure that we have chemistry, but this is what we are going with. It's Kravtsov, Barbashev, and Tarasenko. Kravtsov down to an 80. That has to be due to morale, I would assume. Yeah, his morale's low because of team performance, which doesn't make any sense. Second line is Denis Gurianov, Yakov Trenin, and Nikolai Goldobin, who's going to be given an opportunity. Third line of Vladislav Kamenev, Artem Anisimov is back, and Ilya Mikheyev. Fourth line of Andrew Desjardins, Mikhail Vorobyev, and, Dmitry Sokolov. Now, we could technically have an all-Russian forward core. It doesn't make sense to, and I'll show you why in a second. Defensively, we have Vladislav Gavrikov and Ilya Lyabushkin, Renat Valiev, and Yegor Rykov, who work very well together, and then Comiskey and Teremina. The goaltender, Igor Shestyorkin, who jumped to an 81 overall, still listed as a backup, but that contract could look pretty damn good by the end of it. Nikolai Hobby-Bulin, I wish. Anton Khudobin is the backup. Bork and Prosser as healthy scratches. Now, when we get to the AHL is where it gets a bit more interesting. I ended up signing Rodion Amarov. He is with Kirill Marchenko on that top line. I could have played one of them on the fourth line, but as you would have seen with our coach, he only rolls 3 lines. So I am actually very tempted to just send Vorobiev and Sokolov down to the AHL just to make sure they're actually playing a little bit more than what they're going to play this season. But I figured with them, they're both already, approaching 25. The development pattern isn't going to be great. So I'm tempted to send them down. I think I'll leave them there. But for Amarov and Marchenko, it makes all the sense in the world to have them in the AHL getting those top line minutes. So I might end up making that change. Defensively, it's just Dmitry Vorobiev that we have to worry about right now. But here is the interesting thing. Goaltending. We signed Askarov. We had 1 year left with him being unsigned, and I had the choice. Do we sign him now and play him in the AHL, or do we leave him unsigned and sign him next year? And at a 76 overall, I figured, you know what, screw it, the morale system's on. Let's see how much he benefits from 1 year in the AHL before he more than likely becomes our starter next season. So he is there with Zagadulin in the AHL. The team's not the best, but hopefully they can do well enough that it made it worth signing him ultimately. Time will tell whether or not that was the right call. So we have a couple of players, both at the NHL level and the AHL level, that we are definitely keeping an eye on heading into this season, and we could make changes, call certain people up, send certain people down if need be. Now, in terms of captaincy, it gave Renat Valiev the C, which I don't think I can disagree with, but we are going to strip him of that letter for now. I think we are going to go with Captain Vladimir Tarasenko. Let's give Anisimov an A for the season. And on the defensive side of things, the defensive leader of this team is Vladislav Gavrikov. So let's give him an A and piss off some people by changing the captaincy and such. Now, I should note as well, our coaching staff is top-notch. As you would expect, I just threw all the money in the world towards people. So the coaching staff, case in point, it took a while to scroll for those two. Coaching staff, top-notch. Excited to see what they can do. The teaching grades in the AHL aren't exactly amazing, but I'm hoping that it works out. They also have a low staff chemistry. But we shall see what happens. So that is the team. The teams, really. And we'll see what this season brings. Like I said, I am super tempted to maybe send some people down to the AHL and just let it be. Let them rip apart the AHL for the season. Maybe that would be best for their development. But based off of, player role and everything, maybe not. It's a tough call as far as what is the best way to go about things. Same thing with even signing some of the guys that we did, a little bit early, giving them that ALC a little bit early than I normally would. But NHL 20 is a different beast. So our grades this year, the offense, 83, 67 defense, 77 in goaltending. We will see if that works out for us. I don't really expect it to. Let's get this season sim underway. Now, we also need to keep in mind, of course, what the draft is going to be. We got to keep an eye on that. And as we continue to move closer to the deadline, there could be moves made. Of course, there are prospects out there. Already established prospects out there. This is the Shane Wright and Matt Savoy draft. Will we have any good generated Russians, though, is the question. Nikita Kavanov is up there. We'll see how good he ends up being. There's another right wing, Alexei Vishnevsky, 17-year-old. There's James Eichel. There's also another winger, Pavel Volchenkov. A defenseman, Alexei Ulanov. Okay, this could be decent. 4 players projected in the first round. Not bad. There is also Alexander Medvedov, the 17-year-old, a goaltender, Oleg Karpatsev. This is looking really good. Marcus Kolsnik. Anybody else? Another winger, Maxim Saprikin. Another younger winger as well. That is not a bad setup for the first 2 rounds at all. We also have Mikhail Dmitriev and Andrei Semenov. We'll leave it there for now. Very good start, though, just in terms of the potential pickups that we could have in this upcoming draft. So whether or not, we're able to wheel and deal, whether or not certain players, this could be our only season with Tarasenko. I might move him at the upcoming draft just to make sure that we get those younger guys. Might be the way to do it. Time will tell. I would say no set plan. We do have a plan, though. It's to turn this team into a winner. But how we get there? Well, that road is currently unpaved. But we are getting to the same end result, I hope, and that is winning a Stanley Cup in this series. That is always the game plan. So we shall see. Zagadulin, I don't really need to bring back. It's fine. Sigalet will go with that. I'll bring back Zagadulin at some point. We're actually much more competitive so far than I would have expected. Similar to what happened in Season 1. I imagine it's the forward core that's really dragging us along here. But so far, it is decent. As Yegor Rykov goes down to injury, he'll be out for a couple of weeks. We'll actually have to check the lineup sooner rather than later. I want to see how those fourth liners are doing in the NHL, how much ice time they're getting, and seeing whether or not it is worth sending those guys down ultimately, or if it's worth keeping them. How's Askarov doing while we're here? 902 is kind of rough. Again, whether or not he'd benefit more from that time, in the AHL or even the NHL, or being unsigned. Again, that's always the question. Normally, I would leave players unsigned. The good thing is, Rodion Amarov is doing very well at the AHL level, as is Kirill Marchenko. So those two guys are at least living up to the hype. Dmitry Vorobyov is doing okay, all things considered. And you know what? While we're here, let's check goaltending. Shesterkin is killing it, but he only has 5 wins in 11 appearances. Hadobin is doing okay. Let's take a look at the forward core. Sokolov is getting 8 minutes. 8 and 9 minutes for those two. That's a little bit rough. So I got to admit, I am still super tempted to try and send them down, but at this point, they're both waiver eligible. So that's just something I'm going to have to deal with. But there's really, only one of them would replace Anisimov in the top 9 to try and make it work. Kravtsov back up to an 83. That top line is not gelling well together at all, but I suppose that's to be expected. The second line's doing okay. We're going to leave it. We're going to leave it as is. It's fine. I'm a little bit disappointed that top line has been as weak as they have been defensively, but it could also just simply be because of the players, that are on this defense core. It's not great. We know this. We are well aware of this. So for now, again, really no expectations. Nate Prosser fractures his jaw. Yegor Rykov is back from injury. I should just be able to go best lines and then flip Kravtsov and Guryanov for that extra boost. Perfect. Quick and easy to handle injuries at the NHL level. Let's take a look. The updated class. And let's see what we're dealing with. I'm still going to scroll down this way because I want to see if Kavanaugh moved up. He did not. He is still a bit of an unknown, although not really. An offensive force. Great shooting category for the center, Nikita Kavanaugh. Exciting stuff. Even though he's close to being listed as a two-way, which I could see, his defensive abilities weren't that bad. Alexei Vishnevsky is a little bit of a step below, but still not horrible. Early ETA is 3 years out. We don't know for sure. And then Volchenkov, Ulanov, we don't know a ton about these guys. You know what I'm going to do, actually, as Ulver goes down in the AHL. Good thing about the AHL, too, I don't have to worry about replacing people. We have more wins than than regulation losses, by the way. Don't know if I'm the only one that noticed that. We don't have a winning record, but still, what the hell is going on? All right, good. They are taking a look at people. I was going to say, like, let's go. Chop, chop here. We have nothing but scouts in Russia. There's like 60 players in Russia this year. We should be finding out pretty much all there is to find out about these guys in very, very quick order. Very, very quick order. We will sim to January 1st. 6 wins in our last 10 games as we beat Anaheim as well. The winning streak continues before it snaps against the Blues. For the record, while we have 11 scouts, I only signed guys that were a B grade and above. Didn't really want the, it's like, yeah, we can have 20 scouts. It shouldn't matter that much, right? As Ryan Murray is dealt for a first-round pick. Okay. Works for me. You do you, game. You do you. As we are kind of hanging in there around a wild card spot right now. That is insane. Kravtsov's going to be down on the second line for the moment because I hit the wrong button there, but that's okay. 20-14-3. We have a winning record as of January 1st. Good God. Vitaly Kravtsov is leading this team in points. This Russian team is hilarious. That's what it is. Kravtsov is killing it. Barbashev, 30 points in 37 games. Vladimir Tarasenko, 16 goals, 19 assists. Gurionov is doing very well. Trenin's doing very well. Goldobin's been okay. Third line of Kamenev, Anisimov, and Mikheyev has been really good. That fourth line, not so much. But again, Vorobyev and Sokolov, there's really not much we can do for their development. And then, the plus-minus numbers, except for somehow Vladislav Gavrikov, have been okay. Shestyorkin has a 913, a 904 for Khudobin. Shestyorkin, still a backup goalie. I thought he made the jump to starter. And then down in the AHL, Amarov, 35 points in 37 games. Absolutely the right call to play Amarov and Marchenko on the top AHL line instead of rushing them to the NHL. Rushing. Askarov, not exactly killing it. I'm a little bit concerned that I might have done goofed with him for this season, but that's okay. If I botch the development of our only hope and goal, I think we'll still be okay in this series. We're in a playoff spot as of January 1st. We are going to sim to the beginning of February, and we'll see where we stand at that point. Again, in terms of players that could be dealt at the deadline, unless Artem Anisimov has good trade value, I really don't see who else we'd want to move. Tarasenko is staying, at least for this full season. But like I said, if we have 4 first-round talents in that first round, in the upcoming draft, we need to do whatever we can. We need to make whatever moves we have to make to ensure that we end up with all those top prospects every single year. And then, we're able to go out and get the already established talents who are in the game by default to make things happen and really build this team. As we're 1 game over 500 right now. We play Vegas and Colorado before the end of the month. Ilya Lyabushkin breaks his nose. That's unfortunate. Although we do end up beating the Golden Knights, and we lose to the Avs. 25-21-3 as of February 1st. We are currently... How far out of the wild card are we? We're 4 points back of a wild card spot right now. The Columbus Blue Jackets are terrible. Let's take a look at the team. We'll take a look at the standings as well. Here, let's do that first. So what do we have going on? We are currently 5th in the Metro. Columbus is terrible somehow. In the Atlantic, you have Montreal, Carolina, Boston, and then Toronto in a wild card spot. The Sens towards the bottom. In the Central, it's Chicago, Minnesota, Colorado, and then they also have both wild card spots. The Preds are horrific. And in the Pacific, it's Edmonton, who are killing it, Vegas, and San Jose. So the Oilers are leading the league, indeed. And dead last, Nashville and Columbus. What the hell happened? Goals for per game. Boston is up there. We are mid-table, but closer to the top at a 3.2. Our goals against is a 3.14, which is also mid-table. Our power play percentage is top 6 in the league at 25%. Our penalty kill, though, at 75%. One of the worst in the league. So the offense is there. We can score goals. It's just the defense isn't there, which isn't surprising when you look at our defense. So all in all, we're looking okay. Again, Kravtsov, Tarasenko, and Barbashev doing pretty damn well. Gurionov and Trenin doing very well. You could argue that Ilya Mikheyev should be on the second line over Goldobin, and I don't think I would disagree. And then all things considered, Sokolov and Vorobiev are doing okay for fourth liners. Defensively, Gavrikov doing pretty damn well in terms of point production. Yegor Rykov has also been okay. And goaltending-wise, a 909 for Shesterkin. It has been dropping ever so steadily. Around the league, what do we have? We'll look at goalies first. Catahat is the winningest alongside Carey Price in the same amount of games. The shutout leader right now, Lundqvist and Joe Woll in Toronto, who's a 77, and apparently their starter. Save percentage king right now among starters, Jonathan Quick and Jordan Binnington. Lundqvist is right there as well. Brian Elliott's also up there with New Jersey and Markstrom. The rookie race, it is Morgan Frost's to lose, as Isaac Lundstrom is a little bit behind, and then you have a player we could target in the future, Arthur Kayumov. For defensemen, Erik Karlsson leading the way in terms of goal scoring. It is Hot Sam Bacho. And for the forwards, it is Taylor Hall doing incredibly well. Malcolm McDavid, Pasternak up there. Goal scoring king right now, Taylor Hall. He, McDavid, Panarin, and Joel Farabee. The only players to break 30, but Vitaly Kravtsov is nearly there. So all in all, we're looking really good. Next episode could see us lined up as a playoff team. Now, as we look at this team, though, and what we could potentially do, I mean, draft pick-wise, you know, we do have a couple of extra thirds this year, so that's why I said I was a little bit concerned about maybe needing to make moves. I mean, we have Askarov. Mironov's there. Shesterkin's value isn't really there, so we could use Mironov to make a trade into the first round this year if we needed to. But goalie-wise, we're looking good. Defensively, Tulopov's looking good. Mukhamadullin we shall see. But in terms of players of value, there's really nobody that we could look to use there. Again, Tarasenko's our big value guy. Kulemin, good value. Mikheyev has pretty good value, too. Again, he's up to an 83, so for the people who are upset about his starting potential for a guy who I think is 25 years old at the start of franchise, here's your proof that Ilya Mikheyev can still turn into a really good player, even if you thought I underrated him at the start off of a 30-game NHL career. Goldobin looking okay. Sokolov actually has some value. It might not be the worst idea to move him, just because, again, he's not going to get the development that we need him to get on the fourth line. It's kind of a tough call. And then we have Chistov, who's looking really good. Like I said, though, in terms of players to move with value, we could move Artem and Izimov for like a third rounder, but that's about it. But all in all, I mean, we have valuable players. A lot of our younger guys are in a solid spot right now. Obviously, we lack superstars, but hopefully that's something that can happen over the next few years and with some of the guys we end up getting. But obviously, we haven't had a top 5 Russian yet. But looking here, I mean, you can see the difference. And Denis Gurionov, a lot of statistical growth, quite a bit of morale growth too. But then Kravtsov, we're seeing natural and statistical growth, which is very, very good news for us. Are there any other greens? I mean, Trenin's looking good with statistical growth, not much natural growth, though quite a bit of statistical growth for a lot of these players. And then down in the AHL, Chistov getting really good natural growth, Tulipov, Mukhamadullin, Saprikin, Marchenko with some good statistical growth, Amarov as well. Not as much natural growth from them, though, as I would have preferred to have seen. So we're going to end it there. Let me know what you think. I mean, for me, the way I see it, next episode, we probably don't make any trades. We sim the rest of the season, see what happens. If we don't make the playoffs, we go through the draft. If we do make the playoffs, then we see what happens. Imagine if we make the playoffs. It could very well happen. Although, before we end it, one more look at the upcoming draft class. Let's take a look at these top players here. So we have Kavanaugh still, who, again, looking good. He's undersized. 2 years out, Theo Fleury comparison, though, solid option for us, all things considered. Alexei Vishnevsky, the point total's not great. 3 years out, though, as long as he's a medium 6, he'll be fine. Volchenkov has a tremendous shot and no weaknesses. Very interesting. Confirmed no weaknesses. And then Ulanov is a defensive defenseman, a physical defensive defenseman. And we'll see what he ultimately is. And then there was one more in the second round. Where's Medvedov? There's Medvedov. Whoo! Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's going to be a very good draft, even if we have to sacrifice Vladimir Tarasenko to accomplish our goals. That'll do it for this one. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate the support as always. Drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Subscribe for sure if you haven't already. Check out everything in the description. Shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. I love you. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a good one. Take it easy. And goodbye.